Hi guys, we are live. Fights with friends. It has been a long time, my friends, at least on this channel. I got my super chat back. I got my monetization back, finally. And we have a lot to talk about. It's been a long time since I've done a long form show like this. I've done the fight companions, of course, over on Mike Reviews It All recently. Thank you again for everybody that went over there and subscribed. Please don't unsubscribe right away. I'm trying to get that channel monetized. YouTube has still not monetized that channel, even though I'm over 1,300 subscribers. I'm still in review, so I don't want to see a decline in the post there. And hopefully I'm posting some reviews, and I will be posting some non-MMA things that you guys can get excited about. What's up, Pulse Reloaded? Just kidding. How about Johnny Walker potential matchup against Dominic Reyes? That was one of the most violent knockouts I've seen in recent history. And I know I said that after the Greg Hardy knockout. His last knockout, that was absolutely incredible, and I would compare this to that. Cat wants out, of course. You always want something, right when you start streaming. Animals always want something whenever you're doing something. But what's going on, Jason? Magny got his butt kicked on Saturday night. Guys, tough to hang in there that long. Yeah, he's a tough dude. What about Ponzinibbio, though? That was impressive with the pressure of being in his hometown as well. That was incredible. As you can see now, I got the Google Voice number up over in the corner. So if anybody wants to call in right now and talk about anything in particular, I am taking your calls, 937-889-1622, and that will be the official number for Fights of Friends from here on out. A lot of things I want to hit on tonight. We're going to start with some boxing. Johnny Walker is 6'8" and Reyes is 6'5". Yeah, that's a really good matchup. And I mean, after Johnny Walker got that knockout, I went online and watched it afterwards because I wasn't watching the fights live. Immediately, there was comparisons to saying the light heavyweight division is back alive and John Jones might have a future contender. That's probably a bit of a stretch. That's probably, you know, a little too soon after one match. This was his debut. It was against Khalil Roundtree, though, who is a great striker, coming off a win over the legendary Gokhan Saki, legendary kickboxer, and that was absolutely crazy. What's up, Mario Yamasaki? Good to see you in. Thanks for coming in, guys, and thank you, all of you guys, I think are guys that followed me over to Mike Reviews It All, and I appreciated that. Like I said, the phone lines are up, 937-889-1622. I want to start the night off, though, talking a little bit of boxing. First story I wanted to hit upon is Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner. And I kind of expected Manny Pacquiao to come out and have like kind of a warm-up match, like Floyd Mayweather is doing, and we'll talk about that a little later. But Pacquiao comes in about a 2-1 favorite, a little higher on some sites already for this matchup. This matchup looks like it's scheduled for January 19th. It's coming up fairly soon for just being announced officially. It's going to be at welterweight. I just think Manny Pacquiao is on another level. He's too fast. He's too powerful. I'm not a big Adrian Broner fan. I never have been. He does have some skills inside of the ring. Some of you might have heard me in the past Super Chat. What's up, Archangel? Azrael, thank you very much for the $5. Mickey versus Spence Jr. All right, and yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into a few other ones. First, I want to know what you guys think about the Manny Pacquiao fight, though. Is this a warm-up? Is this a dangerous fight against Adrian Broner? I had a lot of friends going online saying that they think that Adrian Broner will beat Manny Pacquiao. Some of these were some casuals. Some of these were some guys that were, you know, they were into boxing and MMA, let's say, you know, 10 years ago. And they may not know as much as of what's going on. Some other people. But yeah, I think Manny Pacquiao will overpower Broner. And I think it is a good tune-up match. A lot of people think that Broner has a great chance. He's been inconsistent, but he has shown the ability to fight up or down to his opponents at times. So you never know. Errol Spence, easy. This is Post Reload. Holla, what's up, Vince G? Broner just wants a payday. Effing casuals. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, I don't know if they were looking at the 10-year difference between these guys. One of the guys that said that he think Broner would take it used to be really into fighting. I really respect his opinion. He's been on the show. I don't want to throw him under the bus because I think he's not been as active in following MMA and boxing in the last 5 to 10 years as he's been in the past. But I vehemently disagree with him. Gypsy versus Squad is the real question. We're going to get into that too. If Broner performed half as good as he does in his sparring, he would be all right. Yeah, there's a lot of guys in boxing and MMA that people are like, man, they're magnificent sparring. And then once they get into the fight, it's a different story. But yeah, let's jump into Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia, since Archangel threw that out there. And thank you again, sir, for the donation. That's going to be coming up. It's going to be on Premier Boxing Champions and Fox. They announced a 4-year rights deal recently. This is going to be one of the first fights, but the fight is going to headline the first ever Fox pay-per-view card. And I'm a bit confused by that. I thought with the Zone, I kind of thought that we were headed away from the pay-per-view model. I don't know exactly what the price is going to be yet. That is disappointing, though. Garcia said, I wanted to get the biggest fight available and make the biggest splash. What better way than to do it on a Fox pay-per-view? That's why I'm taking it, because it's such a big challenge, and that's what I'm about. I want the biggest fights, the biggest challenges. There's no one else out there right now that I can compete with at the level, and Spence is the guy, so that's why I'm after him. Mikey Garcia comes into this 39-0 with 30 knockouts. Spence 24-0 with 21 knockouts. Mikey Garcia has actually been calling Spence out before he unified the lightweight belts. His last fight, it was in a lopsided win over Robert Easter Jr. in July. I believe we covered that one on here. For the first time in his career, though, Garcia is going to be an underdog looking into this. He's, depending on the size, about a 1.5 to 2 underdog. Garcia said, I think it's going to be a great fight, and this is one of those occasions where the little guy beats the bigger man. And that might be a little bit of the reason for Spence being the favorite in this, because he is a bigger fighter. He's fought at higher weight classes. Broner just got the wake-up call and throws tantrums while boxing. It's really happening. Yeah, it's really happening. They're saying they're going to do it. It's announced for March 16th in Texas. pretty exciting. Do you think I don't think pay-per-view is a good idea at all. This is right under Ali versus Foreman. It's going to be a great fight, though. I mean, if there's going to be a pay-per-view card, this is a great one to have it on. They're also going to have the return of welterweight Keith Thurman. He's not fought since March 2017. He's going to take on Josecito Lopez, he's 36-7 with 19 knockouts. It seems like he's always going in there against somebody that's highly favored over him, and he's pulled off a few upsets over the year. I do have DAZN polls, and it's been back and forth. They're not going at the pace that they said they were. They said 80 fight nights a year, and then they said 120 now. It's not at that pace, but yeah, I do have DAZN because I just want to be doing the boxing matches and the MMA matches as they happen. Mostly it looks like boxing. I don't know who the fuck is gonna win. Garcia is too small. What's up, Jeremiah Wright? Jeremiah says he agrees. That's got to be the reason I'd say that Mikey Garcia is the underdog coming into this, because he is quite a bit smaller. There's one thing that they say. I was just watching. It's funny. I was just watching Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 2 earlier today. I watched that fight probably more than just about any fight out there, and I had forgot. I'm trying not to get too far off track, and I'm going to bring this back around. But I had forgot that Conor McGregor had also fought Nate Diaz at 170 for the second fight. That he called for that. He didn't ask for 155. So if I didn't give him credit for that, that should not go unnoted. And a lot of people thought that Nate Diaz maybe won that fight, or it was very close. I didn't have a problem with it going either way. The reason I bring that up is you have Errol Spencer versus Mikey Garcia. When you have fighters that are around the same skill level, sometimes MMA math works, and usually there is one way that it works, and this is how it works. Is a great fighter can go up and beat a good fighter. Generally, a great fighter will not go up and beat a great fighter at their weight class when they're outweighed. You've seen this. I think one of the best examples was when BJ Penn went up to fight George St. Pierre. I'm not sure George St. Pierre was the better fighter on that night. I think he was just the bigger fighter. I think that was a lot of it. Not take anything away from GSP, but we've seen this, in several different fights. You've seen Nick Diaz going up in weight against Anderson Silva. Two fighters, I think, that were on pretty level playing field at that point in their careers. Anderson Silva was getting older. Nick Diaz was still pretty young back in 2015, but Anderson Silva was just a little bit better. He was a little bit better, and he was a little bit bigger on that night, and I think that had a big advantage. Same could be said, I think, for when Anderson Silva went up in weight against Daniel Cormier, although he took it on short notice, and he is aging, of course. Yeah, I do have the Logitech, I believe it's the Logitech 960. I've been happy with it. I got it on a sale. It was pretty nice. Agree. Archie says Wendy's or White Castle. Oh, we're going to get back into the food. Now, I've never eaten at a White Castle, actually. I think they're only on the East Coast. Yeah, Nate, won both, says Pauls. Yeah, I agreed with that. And on that, I'm going to break into our next subject. And that is going to be the return of Nick Diaz. That was announced recently against Jorge Masvidal. And I want to know what you guys think about that. Particularly, Nick comes in about a 1.5 to 1 underdog coming into this fight. Jorge Masvidal, of course, he's a dangerous fighter. Not the greatest record. I believe, I want to say he's like 30-something and 13. I looked it up earlier today. I'll get you exact numbers here. I'm almost positive he has 13 losses, though. And he's got a much better record when it comes to decisions. He was 32 and 13. 13 TKOs, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out. He's only finished 3 times. Once by knockout, twice by submission. In decisions, he's 17 and 10 over his career. So-so level. A lot of people think that he was kind of on the way down. And then you look at it. His last 4 fights, he's 2-2 in his last 4 fights. But in an 11-month span, he fought Jake Ellenberger, knocked him out in the first round. Donald Cerrone knocked him out in the second round in a minute. Then his third fight, he fought Damian Maia, who couldn't finish him. Damian Maia won by a split decision. Then Jorge Masvidal went the distance with a striking master, Stephen Thompson. Goes from a jiu-jitsu master to a striking master. Totally different kind of fight. He wasn't submitted by the jiu-jitsu master, and he wasn't knocked out by the striking master. That makes me tend to think that Nick Diaz is probably not going to finish Jorge Masvidal. Now, one thing that I was surprised looking at this is Nick Diaz, of course, he's been a great fighter over the years. But when you look at his stats, 26 wins, 9 losses. Of course, he's fought some very great fighters in several different organizations, from Pride to Strikeforce to UFC. In 26 wins, 13 knockouts, 8 submissions. That's 21 out of his 26 wins by finish. That's a great finishing rate. He's been knocked out twice in his career, never been submitted. Now, in decisions, I was surprised he actually has a losing record. He's 5-7 in decisions. Those last 2 decision losses, of course, were against Carlos Condit, George St. Pierre, and then he would be 5-8, except for the Anderson Silva contest was overturned. But since he beat BJ Penn in 2011, which was 7 years ago, October 29th, 2011, he's only fought 3 times, and he's lost every single fight. Yes, they were against a prime Carlos Condit 6 years ago, George St. Pierre, and Anderson Silva, like I said, that was overturned. But he's not been great in decision fights, and I don't see him finishing Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal, it's going to be very tough. Like I said, Jorge Masvidal, he just came off fights against the greatest submission artist probably in the UFC, and Damian Maia went to a split decision. That guy wasn't able to submit him. And then went the distance with Stephen Thompson. One of the greatest strikers, was not able to knock him out. So how a Nick Diaz, after being inactive for over 3 years, finishes Jorge Masvidal, I don't see it. Pulse says Nick by decision. I started off on that tangent before I looked at your Nick by decision prediction. It definitely very well could go that way. Overall career work, if you look at their work as a career, I think Nick Diaz is the better fighter. I think he's fought the better opposition. But Jorge Masvidal, definitely no slouch. Jake the Snake was on Joe Rogan Experience, so there's 46,000 people watching. I seen that. I went in on the live stream. I was kind of busy, but I tuned in for about 5 minutes, about at the point where he was talking about being addicted to drugs, and that he wished that he would have died first when Roddy Piper died. And that was dark. I'm glad it looks like he's back on, you know, the right road, but that's pretty sad. Nick has got to be rusty, but he will still have good cardio. You know, yeah, you know he's working out. You know him and Nate are working out. He's probably been doing triathlons, God knows what else. What's up, Dutch guy? Nice to see you streaming on Fights with Friends, bro. After 90 days survived. Yeah, and thank you guys. I didn't lose a lot of subscribers. I lost it at the onset when I first got suspended. I think I lost about 90 subscribers, but it was right after a stream. It was right after a big stream that I had gained a bunch, so you usually kind of lose some at that point anyways. So I was sitting right around 4,200, I think just under 4,200 before the suspension. I'm still at 4,100. So everybody please hit that like button though if you will. If you're not subscribed or if you took a break from me when I went to Mike Reviews at all, you didn't want too many subscriptions, I understand. If you could please hit that subscription button, I would greatly appreciate it. Nick's fighting style was so simple that I doubt he really needs much refreshing. That's a good point. He is a technical masterpiece, though. I mean, the guy's striking, his grappling, everything. You can't underestimate that guy. I mean, he is so good. And I can see why he comes in at 1.5 to 1 underdog just because he's been so inactive for so long. If he came in much bigger underdog, like say 2 or especially even 3 to 1, I might have to think about putting down some money on that kind of fight if I was a gambler. 1.5, I'm not sure. We get you up to 5K again. We got to get you up to, get to 5K. That's something I want to talk about, and I'm going to make a separate video on it later for when other people are watching. But if you guys get me up to 6,000 subscribers, and I'm going to be pushing this, if we can get up to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the year, on the stream on New Year's Eve, I will eat the hottest pepper in the world, the Carolina Reaper. I hear that there is like 7 stages of agony when it comes to this pepper. So if you want to see me suffer and eat that pepper and see how I do, tell your friends to subscribe, push me on Reddit, share my videos, all that stuff. Also, like I've been saying, the Dutch guy, we need to get him up to 1,000 subscribers. MMA Newsroom that just commented, like I said, that's the Dutch guy. For those of you who don't know, we got to get him making some money. But if you want to see me eat the hottest pepper in the world, let's get it up to 6,000 subscribers. I think we can do it. Nick had an impressive performance against Aju Silva. Oh, absolutely. I was very impressed with Nick in that fight, especially going up 2 weight classes from where he generally fights. I mean, he was a 170-pound welterweight, and now you're going up to they fight at 185. So I guess he was going up 1. And I think he may be fighting at 185 now. I don't know that it's written in stone if this is going to be at 170 or 185 with Masvidal. Anderson could have stopped Nick in that fight. Yeah, I don't know. If he could have, he probably would have, though. So I don't know. That's one of those woulda, coulda, shouldas. What's up? Thanks for coming in, by the way, there, Quincy. Jason Asvito. All the good guys come. JT, what's up, man? What up? Who you got for Nick versus Game Bread? Game Bread. Oh, you're talking about Nick Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. I got to pick Nick Diaz on this one. And as many stats as I spewed out there about Nick losing and decisions, and Masvidal having the winning record, but neither one of these guys has been stopped very many times. Nick's never been submitted. I don't see Masvidal knocking him out. So I actually do see Nick winning this one by decision, by unanimous decision. I just hope he's training and keeping this seriously. Don't eat that thing. I had wings rubbed in that pepper. It was horrendous for 35 minutes. If you guys can get me to 6,000 subscribers, though, I already said it. I'm going for it. What's up, Daniel York? Thank you very much, sir, for the super chat. Super chat, $5. Hey, Mike, are you going to watch the Tito versus Chuck? Kind of overpriced. I think Oscar is shady. I thought you commented on my video earlier, Daniel York, but we'll skip ahead. Since you mentioned that, let's go ahead and skip ahead to Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. I am going to cover that fight. So here's the deal. No one was ordering this at $49.99. No one was ordering it. And as of yesterday morning, they were about 70% of the way sold through the Livegate tickets, which I don't know if that's a disappointment for them, but for a brand new promotion, bringing in guys that are well past their prime, I think that's a success. 70% sell-through rate and a very good chance to sell out there in Inglewood. The pay-per-view at $49.99, like I said, no one was buying it. Then they brought it down to $39.99. I posted on that video a poll from SureDog that they had done, and they asked, now that the fight's $39.99, will you guys pay for it? Who's paying for it? And that, the answers were already bought it or was buying it, will buy it now with the new price. It's still too expensive and would not buy it at any price. 2% of people, 2% said they were already buying it and had bought it. 3% said they would buy it at the $39.99 price point. 20% said it needed to be lower. An astounding 75% said they were not interested in the fight. Honestly, I think that number goes down when I talk about what I'm going to talk about right now. A few things. They are running, and I don't know how many of you remember this, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned on a live stream that they should do a Black Friday special. And Oscar did exactly that, and I think that is genius. And he's going to do it. If you want on the Black Friday special, it's $19.99, and I feel that's what it should have been the entire time. The undercard is suspect. There's a few UFC veterans on there, but nobody big. Efren Escudero, a couple other guys that are pretty much they're barely at professional level anymore at this point. But I am a little intrigued to see if Chuck's able to come back and knock Tito out one more time. And that's what I'm going for. And at $19.99, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna cover it. Unfortunately, the one mistake Oscar, I believe, made in this is he made this a 2-hour window. And I think that is ridiculous. On Black Friday, you have to, if you order from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific, which will be 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Or I'm sorry, not 2. I said 1 to 3. I'm pretty sure it's in the video. Yeah, 1 to 3 Pacific time, and then 4 to 6 Eastern time. It's a 2-hour window, only on Fight TV, which also really limits the amount of buys, although Fight TV is getting to be better known. You can set a reminder on your phone for those 2 hours. That's what I'm going to do, and I am going to buy it for the $19.99. And the Black Friday, it puts pressure on people, I think, where they're like, they don't have a whole lot of time to think about it or change their mind. They're like, oh, I better do this, or forget about it when the event comes up. So I think that was a good choice. I just think the 2-hour window is absolutely ludicrous. I would have not done that. A lot of comments in here. Nick's weakness are leg kicks and wrestlers. Him and his brothers don't chick leg kicks. Yeah, Nate's got beaten up by RDA. And Conor was pretty successful with leg kicks at the beginning of their second fight. Which one of you mods blocked me? Somebody block Pulse Reloaded? Huh. I've been watching old Ricardo Mayorga clips. That what was up with that guy? If he spoke English, he would have been a star. He was a star for a while. He knocked out, and you're really going to test my memory now, because the guy he knocked out was a sensation out of Africa, but he had a weird name, and I cannot think of his name. He knocked him out impressively, though. He had a great battle and a losing effort against Felix Trinidad. But he had some great fights. I was a big fan of Ricardo Mayorga, and he actually was a decent star. If you want to see a fight that he loses, though, and I don't know why, I guess you would want to see that, but you want to see some incredible boxing. A fight that I thought he was going to win was against Corey Spinks, who he fought twice. And Corey Spinks, amazing defense against Mayorga. But yeah, that guy could hit like nobody else for his weight class. And they were saying he actually knocked out a horse, I guess bare-fisted. I don't know why you would do that. It was a horse or a donkey. Still, either way, seems like animal abuse, but still incredible power. I haven't blocked anyone, Jason. Just done drinking my third shake and 1,800 calories in. Nice. That, I don't think I could live on the shakes, Archangel. That's some great discipline, man. But I can do the eggs and veggies and peppers. Oscar going to find out the hard way. This card is rubbish. Will not sell over 80,000 pay-per-views. Oh, there's no way. Absolutely no way it gets to 80,000. Only gave some time out, says Jason. Jorge is a good boxer, good matchup. Yeah, that is going to be an exciting fight, I believe. Will Mayorga slap Mosley's wife's ass? How disrespectful. Yeah, that guy was crazy. Is anybody else having problems getting kicked off of this? I'm watching this on my channel to moderate, but it stopped. It's crashed and reloaded like 8 times. So hopefully you guys aren't having the same issue. I think it's going to come down to who is the better boxer, Diaz versus Masvidal fight, because there's cardio is probably equal. Jorge doesn't use much of his ground game offensively, same as Nick. Was it the Dutch guy fella? Because I got homies in the Netherlands. I don't know why anybody would have kicked you. I didn't even hear you say anything bad. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad. Anyways. Is Jake Shields, the Yoko, is Jake Shields still fighting? And what's up, Comedic Genius, by the way? Thanks for coming in. Jake Shields, he lost in his last fight in PFL, but there is rumor that he might go to Bellator. I guess they are in talks, and he has not decided if he's going to stay retired, or if he's going to retire, by the way, or if he's going to go to Bellator. So I'm pretty sure that one's still up in the air, it looks like. The Hawaiian is in the house. Did not block you, bro. No reason for it. Geeky Spartan. That would be embarrassing if Tito gets knocked out. And he'll probably get knocked out again, man. I picked Chuck in this one. And I think there's fear in Tito's eyes. When you watch that press conference, Chuck, there's no fear in his eyes. And that's probably because he's knocked this guy out violently, easily, twice. But Tito Ortiz, of course, he's fought in the last year. Just last year, he choked out Chael Sonnen in 2 minutes. He's fought every year, like he'd said, every year of his career for 21 years. He's fought at least once. And 5 years is a big difference when you get up to 43 and 48. 48 is very old, especially for a fighter that hasn't fought in 10 years. But the last thing to go is your power. Oh, I'm back. Somebody must have made a mistake, I'm guessing. Pulse brought you back. Dutch ain't got to worry. He has hitters nationwide. Yep. Comedic. What's up, Mikey and News? Hey, doing good, man. How you doing? For sure, Mario. All good. I love the Dutch. They have promo weed. All rise. Comedic in the house. Mike, what do you think of the new UFC website? Have you guys been to the new UFC website? I wanted to shoot myself in the face. I am not a fan. I went to the mobile site today. Today's the first day I noticed it. I don't know if this is when they first did it, but it is more confusing than a man dating in Seattle. And I say that because you never know what's going to go on. You never know what you're dealing with until the pants come off. Anyways, it's extremely difficult to navigate. Extremely difficult. It just looks like an absolute cluster F fail. I can't stand it. I haven't been on it much, but what I want to do is go to the next event and break down the fights. It's an absolute cluster if you guys have been there. And I thought that it was just a mobile thing. I went on my computer now, and same thing. Absolute garbage, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. We got love for Dutch here in the Windy City. Website sucks, says community. Now, yeah, I'll probably spend most of my time on SureDog and MMA Junkie now, forgetting things that, yeah. As a fan, it's easy to like Mayorga, but if you just imagine him talking to you and being his opponent, you would not like him. Knocked out a horse. Damn, that's enough, Ricardo. Yeah, he is a wild dude. He used to smoke cigars and drink whiskey at the press conference, and I believe even the weigh-ins. I'm all good here, says Unemployed. There's fights on right now. Not that I knew of. Here, when Mayorga took Mosley's combo and pointed them at his balls. Yeah. Hey, Michael, you're okay. You reviewing Fury Wilder? What's up, Sports News WWE? I am getting to Fury Wilder. That is coming up on the docket. I was going to get into next. We skipped over the subject with coming up to number 3. Fury versus Wilder's number 4. So I'll be right after that. Can you give my channel a shout out, please? I love your channel. Sports News WWE. Everybody check it out. He's been in here quite a few times now, so check out his channel, and he's got a nice, interesting channel over there. I have checked it out. Oh, sorry, I skipped Bars Entertainment there. How you doing, man? Thank you. It says, nice shirt. I appreciate it. I heard he was fighting on the Tito versus Chuck card. Jake Shields. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I could be wrong. I didn't pay much attention to the undercard. I did glance at it today. Like I said, I seen Efren Escudera. He was fighting another UFC veteran. A couple other guys. I don't remember seeing Shields on there, though. Diaz style was to pressure fighters until the shoot for a takedown. The sub, mostly TKOs on the feet. I'll tell you, if he does not win or if he gets blasted, it's going to be a huge blow to the Nick Diaz name. Because it's amazing he's been able to float his popularity for as long as he has with not fighting for 3 years. Someone see the Sean O'Malley interview on Luke Thomas show. I seen he was on there. I didn't watch it. I think I've talked about this in the past, and I know I've dissed this guy a couple times, but I have a very hard time with Sean O'Malley. Sorry, it's just I'm sorry, not Sean O'Malley. I love Sean O'Malley. Luke Thomas. He's just not a guy I enjoy listening to his voice, and it's not his fault. I'm sure some people think my voice is annoying as hell, and that's why they don't listen to me. But I'm just not a big fan of that part of it. But I will check out the Sean O'Malley part because I am a fan of him, and I am interested in why he failed that drug test. Chuck versus Tito, the real losers, us the viewers. Tito will have the last laugh like Rampage against Vanderlei. What's up, Seven? How you doing, man? What's good, boss? Nice to see this again. Hey, really glad to have this back, man. Thanks for coming in. You have to click 500 times to get where you want. UFC website equals rubbish. Yeah, we all better start tweeting Dana, and I'm gonna tweet that now. And I'm also gonna do a review now that that's an easy one to do, for one thing. But gonna do a review to try to get the narrative out there on just trying to navigate that damn website. It's ridiculous. What do you think about the dude with the big ass neck? Kind of looks like an iron board. I'm not sure which guy. talking about Paulo Costa? I'm not sure. Deontay by knockout in late rounds. Not very many people like to listen to the sound of their voice. Oh, I don't like to listen to the sound of my own voice for sure. That's why Dutch guy listens to these back for me sometimes and gives me feedback. I generally don't re-listen to these. It's difficult. UFC has had the same layout for their website for many years, and I thought it was good though. I liked it. But Seven says, "Oh my God, yeah, forgot that new layout on UFC website. Ugh." Yeah, like I said, today's the first thing I seen. Absolutely horrible. But since we're talking about Anderson Silva, let's go right into the next subject. Anderson Silva versus Yoel Romero. This fight is scheduled. I believe I find this fight very intriguing. Yoel is such a monster. I mean, I know these guys are close in age. It would seem like Yoel's got, you know, like he's barely lost a step though. And I would say that's probably, you know, due to the fact that he got into MMA late, but he wrestled for all those years. So I don't know. That's hard. So it looks like it's going to be at UFC 234. I want to say. At least Yoel Romero called him out. I'm having a hard time finding the official content, but it's going to be on ESPN now. I believe it was going to be Paul Costa, and he's out now. So Yoel Romero wants Anderson Silva at ESPN Plus, and yeah, I think that ends up happening. Yo, Mike, we need some MMA trivia. You should create a new segment. Game show would be dope. Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that, and I had meant to get some questions together for today, and I actually forgot. So I don't know why I forgot, but I'll throw one out there real quickly for you guys. Who was the fighter that got the first victory in UFC history? We'll see who gets it. He fought Taylor Tooley, and he knocked his tooth out, actually right at the beginning of the fight. And then afterwards, he got on the turnbuckles and gave the Nazi salute in each corner of the cage, which was absolutely crazy and disgusting. They didn't mention it. They didn't mention it during the thing, but I don't know how many people caught it, but he did it in every corner. UFC Canadian website is different and has not changed in many years. American one is different. I might have to turn on my VPN and go to the Canadian one then. Yoel by KO. I feel sorry for old Spider. Let's see if Yoel makes weight this time. That's going to be the biggest thing. UFC California. What did you eat today, Mr. Mike? Hey, I did good today. And I didn't even think about the fact that I was going to be streaming because I wasn't sure at the beginning of the day. But I ate 3 eggs. I had a whole bell pepper. I had some roasted jalapeno peppers. And I'm trying to think. I had one other thing this morning. I'm trying to think. I had 2 other eggs. So I had 5 eggs together today. I had a little bit of cheese on the 2 eggs earlier, and then just peppers with the other ones. So I find it easier to stay on track if I keep it basic. But thank you for checking in and asking. Joe Rogan, Bruce Buffer. Yep, Gerard Gordeau. That is it. That is the winner, Jason Azevedo, of the first question for MMA Trivia today. Yep, he got it. I eat eggs and bacon every morning. Oh, yeah, I've been throwing some bacon bits in there recently because Costco has these big, not to get too far off track here, but, you know, I'm doing this weight loss challenge thing, trying to get a little healthier. And I just throw like a few. They have real bacon bits. Then you just crush them up, and it's easy. A big bag at Costco. I'll throw a few in my eggs with some peppers. Bruce, yep. Message retracted. But yeah, Anderson Silva versus Yoel Romero. I got to go with Yoel. Chael Sonnen came out and said that this fight wasn't going to go the way that we thought it was. Because when he fought Anderson Silva, he was able to shut down his takedowns a lot. Well, Yoel Romero is a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and I believe a better wrestler than Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen's a decent wrestler, but he's nothing like a Yoel Romero. I think Yoel Romero probably possibly at least beats Anderson Silva in his prime. Wrestling, takedown defense, that's been maybe the one Achilles for Anderson throughout his career. And if Chael could take him down several times, I think Yoel does. I think Anderson has a harder time hurting Yoel than Yoel does Anderson. And in a 5-round fight, I'm actually going to call the stoppage. I'm going to say Yoel Romero knocks out Anderson Silva in the 5th round. As big a fan as I am of both of those guys. What's next for Garbrandt? I heard he's refusing to fight Jimmy Rivera. I didn't hear that. It will be interesting to see what's next for him, though. Yeah, because he lost twice to TJ. Then there was a rumor he would go down to 125. Now TJ goes down to 125, and he's fighting for the 125-pound belt against Henry Cejudo, when all signs point to the UFC getting rid of the 125-pound division. I guess my prediction is that they want to get rid of this division with a bang. And I think they're hoping that TJ Dillashaw wins this, because I feel he's the more marketable fighter. And then when he goes back to bantamweight, he can say, hey, not only am I the bantamweight champion, I'm also the last ever 125-pound champion, and a guy that held the belt in 2 different weight divisions, one of the few. I see you all taking Silva down and beats him by ground and pound like you did Machida. Knockout. I definitely see knockout, and I definitely see him being able to take Anderson down to the ground. I'm saying knockout. It could be by ground and pound or standing. I'd like to see Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva. Oh, y'all would kill Anderson. Yep. That match has been thrown out there too. Adesanya versus Anderson Silva. I think Adesanya is kind of like a young version of Anderson, though, honestly. I don't want to put him quite at that level yet, but every time he comes out, he's more impressive. I picked Brad Tavares against him. I thought that he wasn't ready for Tavares. He smoked Tavares. And then in this last match, he was absolutely incredible. I buy into the hype train. Israel Adesanya is one of the top 185-pounders in the world, in my opinion. Be a good matchup for him before a title shot. Definitely, I would love to see the fight. I would like to see CM Punk versus Logan Paul. Oh, God. Logan Paul might beat him. Sucks that we'll never see TJ versus DJ or DJ Cruz rematch. Everything sucks with DJ being gone. Deontay Tyson Fury now. Yes. Let's go into that. Tyson Fury, of course, 6'9". Deontay Wilder's not small at 6'6". But I think Fury might even be 6'10". I want to just bring up the stats real quick so I'm accurate with this. This is on Showtime pay-per-view, which that's frustrating because I'm probably not going to throw the $65 in on it. If I make enough to cover all the pay-per-views coming up to it, and that's December 1st. So if I make enough on Super Chat and ads by that time to cover the pay-per-view, I'll get it. Otherwise, probably not. But I think this is an interesting matchup. I think Tyson Fury is one of the most awkward fighters out there. I think he gives Deontay Wilder a lot of looks that he's never seen. He's so awkward, and if this was happening before Tyson Fury took the big long layoff, I would make Tyson Fury the favorite in this. I think he was off for too long, though. I think Deontay Wilder's power is too explosive, and I think he ends up being able to knock Tyson Fury out in the mid to late rounds. So just based on the layoff and based on not having real impressive tune-up fights, not being back for very long, and just not so long ago being in horrible shape, I think Deontay Wilder takes this. I'm going to call Deontay Wilder. If I had to pick a round, I'm going to say the 9th round. Oh, and here's, I honestly didn't see this, but because I've been saying it the entire time, and here's an article by Mirror that says Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder would be competitive without Britt's layoff. So they're right where I am, and I'm sure that's the consensus among a lot of people in boxing right now. But Tyson Fury definitely could outbox him. If he hits him enough, he could knock him out. Remember Luis Ortiz, he floored Deontay Wilder before Wilder came back. Both these guys, I think, have a ton of resilience in a 12-round fight. Tyson Fury showed it against Vladimir Klitschko. Deontay Wilder showed it against Luis Ortiz, coming up off the canvas for the knockout. It's going to be a great fight. I would love to see it. Brunson seems to be timid in a lot of his fight in the stand-up. Tyson via jab and grab. That's very possible. It might be whoever has the best game plan, too. And both these guys are good at putting together game plans. I like that Tyson Fury switched it up. He got a brand new trainer, a guy, surprisingly, that doesn't know a lot about boxing. But he looked so much better in his last tune-up fight, than he did the one before that. So if he continues to get better at that rate, I mean, he definitely has a great shot against Deontay. And then Anthony Joshua, I don't see how he can hide anymore after that. Wilder 6'7". Yep, there's only one Tyson Fury. Oh, for sure. Squad, easy. Fury has been eating mayonnaise sandwiches. I think Wilder's going to have a problem with Fury's jab. He definitely could. Like I said, at 6'10", I mean, that's tough. And you got to wonder if this is going to be one of the last pay-per-views for Showtime. But maybe not. I mean, HBO gets out of the pay-per-view game, and they're replaced immediately by Fox. So I found that interesting. I'm just not a fan of the pay-per-view model anymore. I think it's overpriced. Fortunately, I don't have to pay full price for my UFC pay-per-views, or I might not get a lot of them, honestly. I get a decent discount on those. But Deontay Wilder, of course, coming into this 40-0 with 39 knockouts. And that's amazing. He's came in as little, I think, as 209 pounds. His average weight, they have him listed at 226. But for 6'7", he's got incredible leverage. He's only going to have a 2-inch reach disadvantage. They're both orthodox. Wilder's a little older at 33. Tyson Fury, surprisingly, is only 30. He's 27-0 with 19 knockouts. They have him listed as 6'9". So that would be a 2-inch height advantage and 3-inch reach. So not as big as I thought. I think, AJ is a coward. Yeah, he's he's definitely being called out a lot. And if he doesn't take the winner of this one, I don't see how he doesn't lose a lot of fans. Mayonnaise has eggs. Yes, it does. Do Black Friday sales include weed dispensaries? I don't know. You wouldn't think that they have sales. I don't know if that's a serious question or not, Bulls Resurrected, but the one around here, I know one of the ones around here, and a lot of them around here, they were having 420 sales. They were having big sales, and you could go and get edible cookie packs. It was like 3, which of course I don't do those things because I can't at the work I'm at right now. It was 3 cookies, 10 milligrams a piece, and they're $3. And I think they were normally like 8 to 10. So if you're in somewhere where it's legalized, I guess at least in Washington State it is legal to have Black Friday sales for marijuana. So possibly, man. Tyson Fury in amateur fights is listed as 6'7". He looks a lot taller than Deontay Wilder, though. And I don't know that Deontay Wilder looks 6'7", to be honest. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be Staples Center's live on Showtime pay-per-view. For those interested, of course, Deontay Wilder's got the WBC strap. Tyson Fury is the lineal title holder. It's a great matchup of undefeated champs. I just wish it wasn't $65. They always add a few inches to every fighter's height. Yeah, I've heard that Daniel Cormier is about 5'9", and he looks like he's about 5'9". But Tyson Fury actually looks like he's 6'9". The guy is huge. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it kind of depends on the fighter, if they want people to think they're taller or maybe not. Yep, best example is Cormier. Guy's only 5'9". I've heard that. Barry Sanders or Walter Payton. Oh, two great running backs, man. 2 absolutely great running backs. It's a tough one. Honestly, because of when he played and the short amount of time that he played, and when he retired, I got to go with Barry. I remember watching Barry in the prime of his career, and I remember him putting up 220, 230 yards on great defenses. It's hard when you compare guys from different eras. And Walter Payton was definitely one of the greatest ever. He's right in there in the top 3, with Emmett also being in that conversation. But I got to go with Barry number 1, Walter number 2, and then Emmett number 3. Did you see Fury next to Rogan? Joe looked like Joe looked like half a human. I seen that. Tyson Fury literally looked like he was 2 of Joe Rogan. He's so much bigger. Yeah, that was incredible. He looked like a small child. Infant. Yep. The real fight this weekend equals these animals fighting over useless junk to save a few bucks. I'm tempted to go out and just film some of the madness. I will tell you, my wife got me to go out to the Walmart that's by us on Black Friday, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, in a newer Walmart, though. And I couldn't handle it. I think I had a panic attack. I'm not sure it was officially a panic attack, but I was certainly very uncomfortable. We went in there, and all of a sudden, everybody rushes in behind me, and I'm trying to find my wife, and literally, you can't move. It's like every single piece of their floor had shoes on it. And you had to work and elbow your way through bodies to get 10 feet in half an hour. It was not fun. It was not fun. But if you guys are interested, I might try to film some of the crazier places around here. Because this is definitely a crazy place for Black Friday. I did do the one I did do Toys R Us a few years ago, though, because I got, between me and my wife, we got 6 of those mini Nintendos when they were really popping. And we got an average of about $280 a piece, and when we bought them at 70, so that was worth it. But yeah, let's get back to fighting, though. Wilder versus Derek Lewis in a street fight, bare knuckle. Oh, Wilder destroys him. Wilder is a street fighter. Both these guys kind of are, but Wilder, the dude's a beast. And I know Derek Lewis can maybe take him down and do different things, but I think Wilder just hits him in the temple, and it'd be entertaining. But I think Wilder knocks him unconscious. What about that mess with Rachel Ostovich? Has anybody, do they know anything more about who attacked her yet? So for those of you who don't know what he's talking about right now, Rachel Ostovich, I guess, was blindsided by someone and got beat up, got some bones broken in her face, I believe. She looks like an absolute mess. She got jumped, and she's out of her fight with Paige Van Zandt, I believe it was. So she's not going to be able to fight. They announced earlier today that the fight was off, that she wouldn't be able to fight. But what a horrible situation. Popeyes is having a giveaway, and Wilder is in the way. I got Black Beast. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that guy does, when he gets mad, man, especially about food, especially about Popeyes. It's getting crazy. It was her boyfriend, I think. I'm going to see if I can get a quick update on that story. If there's been anything else to come out about it. Because, yeah, I am interested. Hopefully it wasn't a boyfriend. I know there is an ex-husband. She was married at one time. I don't know anything about him or about their relationship. So I'm not going to act like I do. So, I mean, if he's innocent and had nothing to do with it, I'm not going to throw his name out there. But, granted temporary restraining order against husband. UFC's Rachel Ostovich files for restraining order against MMA fighter husband. So, yeah, so you were right. So, it was the boyfriend. Well, actually, the husband, but yeah. Wow. I'm looking at TMZ Sports right now. It says UFC fighter Rachel Ostovich has filed for a restraining order against her MMA fighter husband, Arnold Bordone, in the wake of a violent incident over the weekend. TMZ Sports has learned. Rachel filed for the order herself in Hawaii on November 19th. Based on court documents, it appears the order was temporarily granted and is set to stay until May 18, 2019. As we previously reported, Ostovich was hospitalized with a broken orbital bone along with other injuries after an incident in Hawaii. Multiple sources tell us Ostovich is pointing the finger at Burden, and that's why she's filed the restraining order. I don't think she's seen who attacked her. It says cops have opened a felony domestic violence investigation, but have not released the name of the suspect. We spoke with a family member who is very close with Bordone, who tells us Arnold is seeking a lawyer and intends to defend himself against allegations he attacked his wife. We're told Bordone will argue he was attacked first and defended himself. Okay, so it was definitely him. There's no doubt about this. As for Ostovich, she recently pulled out of her January 19th fight against Paige Van Zandt, explaining that her injuries are too severe. Okay, so it was the husband. When I was on earlier, there were no names or no suspects that had came out, so I assumed that she was like blindsided by somebody in a ski mask or something. But what a sad situation. Or if there's an ice pack and his balls are hot. I got Black Beast. Hope Paige Van Zandt didn't do a Tanya Harding. I don't think so. I don't see that. There's not the kind of, this is not Olympic ice skating kind of stakes. Another war machine. Yeah, that guy's a piece of garbage. Or if he has to go, to kick a Black Beast. We need Derek Lewis on the case. We all know how he feels about these abuse cases. Oh, yeah, let him knock this dude out. If the guy's guilty, and throw him in jail, but make him fight Derek Lewis. Hell in a Cell with Derek Lewis. Put him in one of those crazy WWE things and give Derek Lewis a chair and a baseball bat. Not that he'd need it, but and let him go at it. Absolute madness. Yeah, I could see Derek Lewis really taking him apart, but my condolences to Rachel Ostovich. And I know women can get out of line sometimes, and don't lose me with where I'm going here. Sometimes there's no excuse for some of the things they do, but in my opinion, there is never an excuse to hit a woman. The only one if she has a gun to your head and you have to knock her out to get to keep from getting shot. Maybe that's the only thing I can think, but I just don't see it. If you have to hit a woman, I don't care if they hit you first, you're not being a man. You're not being a man. I've been in a relationship where a woman, she started hitting me, started, trying to punch and slap on me, like kind of in a fury, and I just kind of put my hand up and laughed. I know I'm not a small guy, but which of course pissed her off all the more. But guys, you got to keep it together in that moment. Every woman should have a gun. I agree, Archangel. What if the woman is physically bigger and stronger than you, like Cyborg? Then you put your hands up and you leave. I'm pretty hard and fast on that rule. I just feel that, men, they have a bigger structure. They have a bigger bone structure. We have an advantage. And if you're getting beat up by women, maybe you need to hit the weight room and learn a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Because if you can get a little bit of muscle on you and a little bit of skills, you should be able to stomp that woman very easily. With your hands. I'm sorry. I'm a 265-pound man. I don't care if it's Chris Cyborg. If she hits me, I'm not hitting her. I'm confident that, I could get her down to the ground just because I'm so much damn bigger and stronger, and isolate her in a position where she could not hurt me. But yeah, I get your point there. And there's some smaller guys out there. And I'm not saying it's okay for women to hit guys, but I'm pretty set on that opinion. What if the woman keeps stepping outside my lead foot? Oh God! If you said sunny side and she gives you a scramble, oh Jesus! Gabby Garcia versus Demetrius Johnson. Oh God! You can only get aggressive in the bed. Oh yes, some really like that. That's for sure. Let's get into the next subject here, though. UFC Rumor Mill, and this is coming out on quite a few sites right now. Stipe Miocic and Cain Velasquez is rumored. This one's off sportskita.com. It is, according to several rumors on social media, UFC could be set for a big fight in the coming months. Cain Velasquez is one of the best fighters, of course, in the heavyweight division, with the exception of a loss to Junior Dos Santos and to Fabricio Verdum, which, of course, he avenged that loss to Dos Santos twice. Velasquez, one of the most dominant heavyweights ever. Stipe Miocic, of course, has the record for most title defenses. I think it would be a great fight if it ends up happening. MMA Finest posted, per multiple sources, UFC looking to book Stipe Miocic versus Cain Velasquez. Who you got? And then SB Nation says a fight between Cain Velasquez and Stipe Miocic would be the perfect addition to UFC 223 card, which is going head-to-head against Bellator 214. I feel sorry for Bellator if that happens. Of course, Stipe Miocic today, though, actually called out Daniel Cormier. So, I'm curious on that. So maybe we don't get that fight. I'm not sure. We're getting off subject. Cain will do him worse than DC. You know, DC landed a punch from a certain position, something he's seen in tape, and it's obviously something that Stipe is going to have to adjust. But I just don't see I don't see Cain Velasquez winning that fight, honestly. In his first fight back after being away for so long, I think Stipe knocks him out. And Cain Velasquez, you know, Junior Dos Anjos has knocked him out. He's been tagged by a few guys. Stipe got tagged once. He's still in his prime. I think that's a very tough sell for Cain Velasquez coming back after being gone for so long, especially with his back problems. Sea level, Cain would beat him. Last time Cain lost, he wasn't adjusted to high altitude. Stipe is so butthurt right now, it's not even funny, and gassed. To be fair, I think he should get the immediate rematch. After being champion for so long, he got caught, you know, with a one-off shot. Guys that have been knocked out like that were dominant. George St. Pierre, immediate rematch against Matt Serra. Anderson Silva, immediate rematch. Of course, Anderson Silva had a much longer streak. Immediate rematch against Chris Weidman. And I don't see how anybody's more deserving of the shot than Stipe. Stipe has to face Ngannou again. That was a dominant performance, though. Don't you think Cain should have a warm-up first? Yes, I believe so. Bellator champ, maybe. Derek Lewis back-to-back. Cain will probably blow his back out on that warm-up fight. That's true. I think Stipe will fight the winner of Blades versus Ngannou. That's an interesting fight coming up. And that was going to be the next one that I go into, and especially in the mindset of Ngannou. I'll read a few more of your questions, and let's go into Blades versus Ngannou. UFC mad at Stipe doing the beer commercials. What if Stipe died in a 4-alarm house fire? Oh, that would suck. That's horrible. He's a fireman. Be a hell of a fire. Yeah. Stipe is Dana, and Dana don't exactly see eye to eye. I doubt he gets his rematch. Yeah, they certainly don't, and it didn't help his case that he didn't let Dana put the belt around him. Now, I can kind of defend Dana a little bit when he was hyping Francis Ngannou so much coming into the Stipe fight. Because Francis Ngannou, with those incredible knockouts, he was so hypeable. It sold the fight, and it made them all a lot of money. Stipe was getting pay-per-view points in that. I don't know if everybody knows that. But Stipe was getting pay-per-view points in that match. So them hyping Francis Ngannou as a Mike Tyson-esque character, it made him a lot of money too. And he also had the chance to bet on himself, which if I were him, I would have. As it was absolutely insane. Ngannou was a favorite in that fight. Still one of the biggest odds travesties, I believe, in combat sports. But Cain has only fought 3 times in 6 years. Very true. They don't match. I'm sorry, 3 times in 5. What's up, Super Tramp? After short hiatus, Super Tramp in the house. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What's new and interesting, Mike? Diaz got an easy bye. Lesnar fight not happening. Diaz is actually an underdog coming into the fight with Jorge Masvidal. We talked about that a little while ago. He's a -150. Hasn't fought in 3 years. Jorge Masvidal, he's a tough dude, man. I do pick Diaz in that fight, but that should be a great fight. Lesnar fight not happening. I haven't heard anything confirmed, but it's kind of been looking more and more doubtful. And let's go into our next subject, I guess. Number 6, we'll just go straight into that. Dana White asks Daniel Cormier, says he wants him to fight 3 more times before he retires. And he doesn't want to see him retire without the trilogy match against John Jones. And he wants it at heavyweight. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And I think that's smart on Dana's part. I think it's smart on everybody's part. But then it really brings Jones's star back shining quickly. First, he's got to get past Alexander Gustafsson, though. Nagano beats Blades again. He needs to prove he should still be feared. His mental, yeah, that's right. I kind of skipped over Nagano and Blades. So let's back up for a second there. I think Blades wins the rematch. I think he's gotten better since then. I think Nagano needs to show that he's into it mentally. And since getting beat up by Stipe, I don't think he's shown that. He was anemically inaccurate, of course, in that horrendous fight against Derek Lewis. And I think he's got something to prove. Even he said that he felt like he was mentally not there and he was scared to pull the trigger. So we'll see if a little more time off has, got him in a better mental state. But I got to take Blades after that, honestly. Oh, yeah, I remember saying Askren was the GOAT. $5 million per fight, extra $10 million if DC goes out undefeated. Oh, that would be crazy. I can definitely see Cormier getting $5 million, especially for the shot against Jones. But, yeah, I think Blades out-wrestles Nagano, though. I think he watches the tapes of Stipe a lot. Remember that fight was stomped on an eye cut? Nagano didn't knock Blades out like he did many other guys. And I just think Blades out-wrestles him, smothers him to a unanimous decision victory. Curtis said he trained with Stipe in his Nagano camp, I think. Oh, nice. And Curtis said he took Stipe down at will. Wow. DC is smart. Yeah, DC's going to hold out for some money. I like that. And so I think that's my thoughts on Curtis Blades and Francis Nagano. Nagano's got to show he's back mentally. And so let's talk about Daniel Cormier and about what Dana White said. He wants Daniel Cormier to come back for 3 more fights. I don't know what the other 2 are. Obviously, he still wants the Brock fight. And he wants the Jones fight at heavyweight. A lot of things have to happen to make that happen. First, Jones has to get past Gustafsson, which is definitely no easy out. Gustafsson almost beat him the first time. And Jones is coming off a long period of inactivity. Then Daniel Cormier, he still has to get past Brock Lesnar if he does take that fight. Anything can happen when you got a guy that big in Brock Lesnar. You could have an accidental, Brock Lesnar falls on Cormier at a bad angle, tears his ankle or something. He could break his hand on the side of Lesnar's head like he just is coming off a broken hand. That's pretty much the only way I see Lesnar winning is by some kind of freak injury. But it definitely could happen because he's just so damn big. He definitely trains with his wife. Oh, God. DC and Cain to the WWE. Oh, man. I never thought about DC going over there, but shoot, why not after he retires? Go over there and get a couple $1 million in a few years. I think Cain is kind of looking away from the WWE, though, and starting to look back towards the UFC, which is where he belongs. I agree. That's my thought. But you never know. The WWE is a horrible match for Velasquez, though, I believe. And unless you're a guy like Brock Lesnar who can show up 3 times a year at the biggest events and get huge paydays, That's so bad on your back. It's worse on your back than UFC. And it's a grind. I mean, you could be doing 100+ shows a year. DC has a lower center of gravity. I doubt the Lesnar versus DC fight will happen. There are still no announcements made. And we have announcements of March 6 fights already now. Tag team. Yeah, I definitely have my doubts. I can easily see that falling through. My girlfriend has the lowest center of gravity, says Comedic. How's she doing, by the way? Now, Sean O'Malley recently hinted at the idea that USADA might not be around in 2019. I didn't see that. I seen that he obviously was very upset at this failed test recently. He's out for 6 months. One issue, I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan. He definitely doesn't look like he's a PED guy. But here's the thing, from everything I hear, he was talking about failing. He thinks he failed because of caffeine pills that he took, tainted caffeine pills. They were not able to find anything in any caffeine pills, though. And that's all I was given, was that they weren't able to find the substance in the caffeine pills. Now, I don't know if that means Sean O'Malley couldn't find those exact caffeine pills. Again, I'm going to try to get a little more of the story on that. But we'll see exactly what it is. It says, yeah, of course, he was pulled from UFC 229. And he just says he believes. He says Sean O'Malley reveals the substance he believes is behind his removal from UFC 229 fight card. This is on Forbes.com. They're a pretty reputable site. And yeah, he says he believes it's caffeine pills, but who knows? You know, kudos for him coming out and telling everybody about it before he had to. But I don't know that he really had a choice. He said, I've been working with Jeff Nowitzki at UFC, and I believe that we have already identified a dietary supplement that would have caused this. We've sent remaining substances from the bottle I took to the USADA lab, and as well as a full still bottle. So he did deliver it to him. I'm told that testing of these supplements can take as long as 30 days. This was back on October 2nd, and apparently they've came back since then, and they were not able to find anything. So, Beowulf, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. $5 donation from Beowulf. Mike, who is your prediction of the new mysterious signing to ONE FC? That's going to be a tough one. Who goes there? I seen that their CEO said that they see more trades happening in the future. So I don't know if it's going to be a trade. I'm assuming it possibly could be. You look at people that are disgruntled, it could be a lot of people. It could be a lot. It could be Stipe Miocic. You look at people that have a strained relationship with Dana White, and that would be a big sell. I don't know who they would get for him. We'll see if I'm able to get any feelers out there, any story. Doesn't look like it's anything really recently going on. But ONE FC recently said to the UFC, we will swallow you. That's an interesting quote there. Of course, ONE FC showing all of their shows for free right now. To let everybody know, if you guys didn't know that, download the ONE FC app or go there. All the ONE FC fights are free. They're not on our time. But they've decided right now to put them out there for free, and a lot of them are on their YouTube channel. Don't try to post their fights online on YouTube, though, it is still under, they're still claiming the rights on that. I posted part of a fight from Ben Askren, and they didn't ding me for a copyright, but what they did is they just sent me a thing that said, you can go ahead and post that, but we want the revenue from it. So I went ahead and gave them the revenue. If you've seen that Ben Askren fight, there's part of ONE FC fight in there. And so I just gave them the revenue for that video because I didn't want to pull it down and I didn't want to pull the fight out. But next signing to ONE FC, the 125-pound division is going to be gone, but I really don't see anybody big coming out of that. Probably the biggest name outside of Henry Cejudo, which I don't see leaving the UFC. I see him going to 135, is Jose Benavidez, and I don't think Benavidez is a big enough name to go in there. I'm curious who you guys think. Floyd Mayweather. Oh, geez. And we're going to get to that, all the fiascos of Floyd Mayweather and Ryzen here soon, too. Check the promo vids. The fighter is in it. Yeah, Mama at DC. Who is it then? You want the boot against is Mario DC #1. See ya. If DC beat Lesnar and Jones and retains, he should fight Cain. That would be interesting, and I wonder if that's the third fight that Dana's thinking about. Even though Cain and DC said they would never fight, DC takes a new and lets Cain win. Then rides into the sunset. I don't see him throwing a fight, but I think you put down enough money, maybe those guys fight. I don't know. ONE FC, of course, after pulling off the big signing of Eddie Alvarez, which they didn't have to give up anything for. Of course, they recently made the first trade in MMA history, and I believe they definitely got the better side of that one, too, getting Demetrius Johnson while the UFC gets Ben Askren. I think Demetrius Johnson's more marketable, he's more athletic, and Ben Askren's a great fighter, but I just don't see him fighting for near as long as Demetrius Johnson did. He already retired once. So, it will be interesting. Of course, Conor McGregor came out to the ONE Championship CEO recently and asked him to sign the squad of 125-pounders from the UFC, like it's his fault. Who do you guys think goes next into the ONE FC, though? Askren is going to clean house. I think he probably beats quite a few guys, but I don't see him staying in the UFC more than maybe 4 fights. I heard that Francis versus Blade in China is on at 3 a.m. over here. Yeah, 3 a.m. Pacific. The undercard actually starts at midnight. So that's a tough one for me. I have to work that day. And then I'm also going to do the Ortiz Liddell fight is the same day. It's going to be that night. And I got to be to work at 5, so I really don't even have time to do it anyways. So, what's up?
Hi.
Hello, how you
Just
doing?
coming home. Hi.
Hi.
Just want to say hi.
Hi. My daughter coming home. Thank you. How was your day?
Good. How was yours?
Good.
I have a fun kid story today. Things were really good. I'll tell you later.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that really sucks. Floyd versus Tension is still a thing. As far as nope, they canceled it, but now last I seen, it is back on. I mean, who flippin' knows when it comes to Floyd Mayweather? But he says it's back on. He says it's going to be a 3-round exhibition fight. Fight result won't count on record. This is a hard sell for me at that point then. Floyd Mayweather's opponent, Tenshin Nasukawa, brutally KO's rival in the first round ahead of exhibition fight. Well, that was his last fight before that. But, yeah, an exhibition, 3 rounds, and it's not even going to count. this is a do nothing. This is not the 1970s when Muhammad Ali's challenging wrestlers. I don't like this fight. One thing I hadn't checked, and that's what I'm doing right now, though, is Fight TV, of course, is showing the Liddell versus Ortiz fight. That's going to start at 6 p.m. Pacific time on November 24th, this Saturday. So I'm going to be doing that one. But the Ryzen card, is that going to change the price of it? I don't know. It doesn't look like... I'm trying to show more. I'm going to go down to it. It's a New Year's card. So see, they have all the way down to December 31st. But it's an XWA New Year's Bash, $14.99. Recently, Ryzen cards have been $19.99. I hope it stays that way. But with Floyd Mayweather coming in, you know he's going to want a lot of money. I'm afraid that they're going to ask more for it. I hope they don't, but I don't see how they can get Floyd and not ask for more money. Nope, if you believe that you really are, will never happen. I think they do have a 3-round exhibition match. I think that happens. I just don't think it's... I don't think it's anything to write home about. Might as well play horseshoes versus exhibition only. Yeah, that's... it's ridiculous in my mind that he's going over there, that they're going to have an exhibition match. So the Ryzen New Year's Eve card, I don't know how many of the matches. It's going to be Ryzen 14. Of course, it's in Japan. Yeah, they do have it now. They have listed as the main event fight card. They have it listed. They have Floyd Mayweather listed as 0-0. Tenshin Nasukawa is 4-0. Of course, that is not Floyd Mayweather's boxing record, and 4-0 is not Tenshin's kickboxing record. So I'm not sure exactly what the rules that are going to be. Originally, this had been announced at $19.99, and there's a bunch of fighters that are fighting unknown fighters at this point. Darren Cruikshank's fighting. Kazuyuki Miyata is fighting. Tatsui Kawajiri is fighting. Yusuke Yashi is fighting. A couple big names on there. Kana Asakura, a big female name over there. But we don't know who they're fighting against yet. So, like I said, I'm just hoping that it's $19.99. I think it's smart for them to keep it at $19.99 because they're not going to make their money back on Floyd. It's all it is. Considering a very expensive advertising. You know, that's my idea in this. That's what, you know, that's what I think this comes down to. Let's talk DAZN for a while. Has anybody gotten DAZN yet? Someone mentioned it earlier. I got it. Mayweather on Maury talking about how he lost it all. An exhibition of paper, rock, scissors. Oh, Jesus. Comedic genius. Mikey, how do you feel about Kron Gracie maybe signing with the UFC? Market is saturated. Market is definitely saturated. But DAZN it's not a pay-per-view thing. So, I mean, I'm not sure if they like their chances because they put out so much money. But I definitely like their, you know, I like their format. I like $10 a month a lot better than I like $50 a fight, $65 a fight even. Kron Gracie, he was semi-impressive over there in Bellator. He didn't really fight anybody big, though. Be interesting to see what the UFC is going to do with him and how they're going to bring him along. He's 4-0. He's got 4 submissions. He fought. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't fight. He didn't fight in Bellator. I don't know who I was talking about. He's fought in Ryzen his last 3 fights. Ryzen 1, 2, and 4. He did have, a submission, rear naked choke submission over Hideo Takoro. He's a pretty decent fighter over there in their World Grand Prix opening round. With 11 seconds left in the first round. Of course, they have 10 minutes for the first round. And yeah, all 3 first round submissions, a second round submission. I haven't seen anything from him, especially coming into 145. That's one of 2 of the toughest and most saturated weight classes in the UFC. I haven't seen anything from him that makes me think that he's going to be the next big thing. But I mean, we'll see. He's a Gracie. Obviously, he's had some, some great, he's had some great training over the years. And I believe he got his black belt under Henzo. I got it early on, canceled it. I regret it now. Oh, early on. Oh, the Rise. Are you talking about the Ryzen thing? Congrats on your bans being lifted. Thank you, Superchat. It was a long ways. 90 days was a long time, and especially when I talked to other people and they felt that what I did and the way I read it was definitely legal under not only the First Amendment, which YouTube doesn't have to uphold to, but it's also under their rules as far as fair use. Fair usage, if you show minimum coverage to get your point across and you commentate over it, and what you're doing is a bigger part of your commentating, you're supposed to be able to use it. I don't want to talk about that a whole lot, but I felt that I should have won the appeal there. That didn't happen, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Oh, DAZN, I hear you. Well, you can get it back. Yeah, I like DAZN, but I wish the Bellator welterweight tournament didn't take so long, and they need a catalog of the old Bellator fights. They are working on that, I guess. Scott Coker said that they eventually plan on them getting rights to all the Bellator fights. They have to work, which is strange. The hang-up is with the rights and Viacom. But Viacom actually owns Bellator. So that's why it's strange. They feel that Viacom feels that the replay rights to those fights are worth enough to them. Maybe they're going to try to make some deal with DAZN and try to get them to pay more for them. I wouldn't pay more for them if I was DAZN. And Bellator's been showing a lot of these replays for free on Bellator.com. YT ban, YouTube ban people for nothing these days, and you can appeal in some cases. Yeah, I did appeal, but a lot of times the reason people are winning these appeals is the persons that they challenge it, and the person that you challenge the video has so long to respond, and generally they don't respond. At least when you win. This is the second time I've been banned. The last one, I won the appeal after like a week. And that one was absolutely ridiculous because it was just me commentating. England, unfortunately, is very, they're very diligent about their copyright rules. They've gone into crazy land recently, in my opinion, though. But I was glad I got that one. Bellator is men's victim. Oh, that's funny. All good, man. 100%. Now, what's the taint doing? Thanks, bro. Yep. Talking about Bellator, though, the next card on the 30th, I'm not super excited about, but moved to December 14th. This rematch with Brent Primus and Michael Chandler should have happened a long time ago. Michael Chandler comes back. He should win this fight. Of course, he had an injury to his foot, I believe it was, in the first round. Broken foot, similar to what Henry Cejudo had in the Demetrius Johnson fight, though. Although I think it must have been a bit worse. Michael Chandler's a pretty tough dude. I see him winning this pretty easily. He really wants revenge over the champ, Brent Primus, who has refused to defend his championship several times. Nice gummy and stretchy. I hope. Oh, Jesus. Frank Mir returns on December 14th against Javi Ayala. That's a decent tune-up match. I feel for him, but Frank Mir, you know, he's been falling quite a ways recently. Now 18-12. Derek Campos comes back to fight Sam Sicilia. That's a decent match. That's pretty much all that's going on December 14th, though. But that's, you know, the best match coming up for a while. And then they're going to have back-to-back cards again, just like they did not too long ago. December 15th is going to come back with, I believe, the better card. Lyoto Machida takes on Rafael Carvalho. That's the middleweight co-main event. The main event is the women's flyweight world title. Ilima-Lei McFarlane versus Val Letourneau. I don't really care for that as a main event. But welterweight matchup, you got another Gracie on there. You got Naaman Gracie, 8-0 versus Ed Ruth, 6-0. King Mo comes back. King Mo Lawal, and it's no gimme fight that he comes back with. He's fighting a tough Liam McGregor, who's 12-3. But I am looking forward also to see King Mo coming back. So that'll be December 15th. King Mo Lawal versus Liam McCreary. Neiman Gracie versus Ed Ruth. Lyoto Machida and Rafael Carvalho, I feel, are the high points of that card. And then the big one coming back, of course, it's going to be a little while after that, not until January 26th, but we're finally going to get Fedor Emelianenko versus Ryan Bader, the finals for the Heavyweight World Grand Prix. Also on that card, Gegard Mousasi defends his championship against Rafael Lovato Jr. Aaron Pico comes back against Henry Corrales. Those are the three bouts scheduled for that night, but those are three great bouts. How come all the vegans tend to be homosexuals? Hard and tight, that's good. Fedor, yeah, I got to take Fedor in that one, even though he's getting older. The guy is just so powerful. Chael talked about the difference. He said in an interview recently, they said, you fought John Jones, you fought Anderson Silva, you fought Fedor Emelianenko. What do you think about them? And he said, by far, Fedor was the strongest and most athletic fighter that I've ever fought. He said the most explosive, more explosive than John Jones and Anderson Silva. And he said that he underestimated how hard Fedor would hit when he got in there. And, of course, Chael just got demolished. Ryan Bader in a lot better place in his career, I think, than Chael Sonnen. He's going to put up a much better fight. But I do favor Fedor in that one. Is Takashi going to survive Rikers Island? Oh, Takashi 69. I don't know a whole hell of a lot of what's going on there. I watch Philip DeFranco sometimes, and all I seen was the controversy with Takashi 69. I barely know who the guy is. But who knows, man. Rory McDonald really screwed himself with the Imanari roll. I feel like that loss against Gegard really hurt his reputation. I think he's fine if he loses to Gegard, depending on how he loses, because he was out of his weight class. But I agree with you that it hurts him because of the way he lost. It was horrible. Faye over Chael. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, hell, give up teabag booty real quick. Oh, jeez. So, yeah, lots going on in boxing. Lots going on in the MMA. A lot of speculation. Of course, it looks like the first fight card on ESPN, first big one's going to be Anderson Silva versus Yoel Romero. Well, it was going to be Anderson Silva versus Paul Costo. And if Romero wants that fight, I don't see them not giving it to him. I mean, we'll see. They may not, but I think they do. I think they do give it to him. Some more boxing coming up here soon, though. November 30th, Jeff Horn returns against Anthony Mundine. I'm going to try to see what coverage we can get on that one. HBO, November 24th. Now, I believe this is the last HBO show ever. Dimitri Bivol, 14-0 with 11 knockouts, coming in against the veteran and great John Pascal, 33-5-1 with 20 knockouts. That's going to be a crazy one. Then, of course, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury is December 1st. Only on Showtime pay-per-view. Then on Showtime, though, the same day, I guess, on the Showtime prelims, Adonis Stevenson's going to fight Alexander Gazadike. I can't pronounce his name completely. But that should be a good matchup. Boxing fans that have been looking for Vasil Lomachenko, though, this is one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most because I just love this guy. He's going to be taking on Jose Pedraza, who's 25-1-12 himself. That's going to be in Madison Square Garden, December 8th. Looks like that's what I'll be covering that day. He's absolutely dynamite, Vasil Lomachenko. As most of you know, he's got some of the greatest movement out there. Canelo Alvarez comes back against Rocky Fielding a week later on December 15th. And then Carl Frampton comes back on ESPN December 22nd against Josh Warrington. Frampton's 26-1, 15 knockouts. Going against undefeated Josh Warrington, 27-0 with 6 knockouts. Listed as a boxing match in the boxing schedule, Floyd Mayweather versus Tenshin Nasukawa. I don't buy that as being, like we talked about, though, as being a legitimate fight. But the Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner fight, January 19th, that we talked about. Keith Thurman comes back against Josecito Lopez. Keith Thurman, 28-0, 22 knockouts. That one's going to be on Fox Sports. Anthony Durrell comes back against Aini Yildirim. That's going to be on, it says Showtime and Fox Sports. So that's a strange one. I've never seen them be on both. And then the pay-per-view we talked about on Fox Sports, Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia. Ending out, they have all the way up till April 20th scheduled. Danny Garcia, 34-2, 20 knockouts, takes on Adrian Granados, 20-6, 14 knockouts. Great end to the year for boxing, though. Let's see. Am I going to watch Creed 2? Did I miss? Oh, I missed something before. Yes, I am going to watch Creed 2. Actually, Rocky is a big tradition in my family. So we will all be going out to watch that on Thanksgiving as a family. That'll be part of our Thanksgiving celebration. That comes out on Thanksgiving. I've heard good things about the movie already. Whitaker versus Gastelum also coming up next year. That's going to be an incredible one. I always underestimate Kelvin Gastelum. I don't know how many times I have picked against him and he surprised me, but I got to pick against him one more time. I think Robert Whitaker is a little big for him. I think he's too skilled, but I've gotten burned betting against him in the past, though, so we'll see. I'm not sure. Orton versus Rey Mysterio. Anyone recommend something on Netflix? Stone Cold versus The Undertaker. Coming up on Netflix. I know this is a bit off subject, but have you watched all the Black Mirror Comedic Genius? That's my favorite new show by far. It is the modern day version of Twilight Zone, X-Files. It's trippy as hell. I absolutely love it. I promise, guys, I'll get back on fighting for just a second, so don't leave me. But I'm going to go through Netflix here for just a minute. All the great MMA shows, including definitely MMA Junkie, divert temporarily from MMA. So I'll be back to fighting. The Adam Sandler special I watched last night was very hit and miss, but the hit parts were very good, so I definitely felt that was worth a watch. Joe Rogan's special, of course, was great. So was Tom Segura's new special. I like Joey Diaz's on the deplorables. I thought it was underrated. He said he thought it wasn't very good. For the 30 minutes that it was on, I liked it. One more thing, I'm going to go and then I'll get back to fighting and off this kick. But Netflix, if you haven't watched F is for Family by Bill Burr, I think it's absolutely hilarious. I would definitely check it out. And the third season comes out on November 30th. Me and my daughter have been waiting for the third season to come out forever. Just if you don't know, warning, it's not for young children. My kids are 16 and almost 18. They're barely old enough to watch it. But Weekend and Bernie's is a tradition in my house. One more thing. One more great show that I seen on there. If you guys haven't watched it yet, it's called The Push. Look it up. It's a psychological experiment in the spirit of things that the CIA has done to people. I promise I'll get back to fighting in just a minute. Don't leave, Dutch guy. But it's this mentalist in London. I heard about it on JRE, of course, but what he does is he took these people, set this up for like 10, 11 months, and he takes unsuspecting people after going through several tests to see how agreeable they are, to see if they are willing if they can talk them in through slowly gaining trust and slowly getting them to start to do more and more bad things. This isn't ruining much because it's right in the beginning. How they started out is they ask them to label a bunch of sausages at a party as vegan because they said that the vegan items actually got pushed off onto another truck. They end the thing with them asking the representative to actually commit murder by pushing someone off of a roof. And I won't ruin it for you, but it was a lot of fun. Project Blue Book. I will look into it, but Chrysler's Secret Time is good. I know this is a fight stream generally, but anybody else got anything great that's coming out on Netflix now? We've been talking about fighting for almost 2 hours. Netflix or Hulu. If we're talking about Hulu, if you haven't watched Stephen King's Castle Rock, the whole season's out now. You can go back and watch it on Hulu. It is great. It follows, each season's going to follow one of his books. This one takes place in the prison of Shawshank Redemption. It brings in moments from several of his books, as well as a lot of new characters and characters from old books and movies, including Needful Things. I thought it was an incredible watch. Best character Stan Lee ever created. Yeah, we gotta kind of do a tribute to Stan Lee, don't we? Best he ever created. I'm gonna say it's got to be Spider-Man. Even though I'm a bigger fan, believe it or not, of Thanos. I don't know why he's the bad guy. I know maybe that's horrible, but I like the character and the deepness of that. But I said Spider-Man. He's been around for so long. I think Superman's just kind of stupid and overpowered. So Spider-Man, I think, has got to be the best character. Yeah, I seen Push. It's crazy. It's like you brainwash people into becoming Nazis. Yeah, that was... I'm not sure how I feel about that after I watched it, but I definitely recommend watching it. As far as things that actually happened in a true reality show, it blew my mind like nothing I've ever watched. Black Panther is a great one. That's one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen, for sure. What's Black Panther's power? His extra power. Wolverine's, his blackness. Oh, Jesus. Actually, vibranium. Oh, yeah, that was the... vibranium was what they harvested in their country, in their area, and they were the only ones that had it. Yeah, that was a great movie. So yeah, his extra muscle. Oh, Jesus. Wolverine. Wolverine was not a Stan Lee. That's a Fox. That was a Fox one. I don't believe Stan Lee had anything to do with Wolverine. He was a Fantastic Four. I could be wrong. I'm not a huge comic book nerd, but I don't think he was X-Men. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. Let's do just 1 second, guys. I gotta let my... Hey, Rebecca, are you here? Can you let the dog out, please? Thank you. So, yeah, it's extra muscle. All right. So, a lot of good TV out there to watch right now as well. A lot of good stuff on YouTube and a lot of good fights. Thank you very much for all the Super Chats today. I greatly appreciate it. Very glad to have Super Chat back. And thank you so much for putting the questions out with them. So that is awesome. I'll definitely turn a page on that. I have a few more MMA things out there in my mind, stories out there I want to save for a few videos coming out recently. If you're looking for Black Friday things, I would say don't go out. Stay online. Look for the Roku. If you're a cord cutter like most of us are, I know I did do a review on the best deals for streaming machines, but it's going to be Roku.com, the Roku Ultra. My friend has one. It's absolutely amazing. You can hook it up to a wireless network or a hard drive. He's got his hooked to a 4 terabyte hard drive. So he's got tons of fights, tons of movies stored on there. Roku is very user-friendly. The deal that they're having, they have a limited amount, though. It's normally $100. It's going to be $50. It comes with a set of earphones that they value at $30. It also comes with my favorite feature. It comes with a remote finder. So if you push a button on your box, your remote will beep to help you find your remote. And I'll be watching a lot of fights and shows on that new season of Narcos on Netflix. Have you seen it? I have not watched Narcos yet. It's been on my list of things to watch. I don't watch a lot of... I've been watching Better Call Saul. I've been caught in that. I'm almost caught up through the last season. That's another one that I really enjoy. If you liked Breaking Bad, or even if you haven't watched it, if you didn't watch Breaking Bad, watch Better Call Saul, because this is the prequel to Breaking Bad. So if you watch it in that order, watch that first. And then when it's over, I have a feeling this is probably going to be the last season. Then go and watch Breaking Bad. But either way, I believe you should watch it. It's lame, man. Waste of time. Oh, are you talking about Narcos? Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I am a fan of gangster shows and movies, mafia movies and stuff. So I will probably at least check it out. Comedian Genius. Oh, God, Comedian Genius. No, I'm sure no one in here has ever heard of what you're talking about, Comedian Genius. What is this about? Is this like a fighting show? Blacks.com, new season is good. I have not heard of it. To be honest, like I said, my new favorite show is Black Mirror. I still have a few that I haven't watched yet. And that's 2 hours, that quickly. Let's take some calls from people before we go. Anybody that feels like calling, 937-889-1622. That is toll free if you're in the United States. That is the Google Voice number, and that's going to be the official number for Fights with Friends. So I will have that on there in the future. Sorry, Dutch guy, Netherlands. We're going to have to get together, though. Email me, Dutch guy. We're going to get together with the Facebook Messenger. Me and Dutch guy will definitely do something together here coming up. Some kind of show. It's nice to have somebody else to bounce ideas off during it. Oh, biology documentary. I'll have to check it out. I've also been wanting to watch, I think, To Make a Murderer. I have not watched that yet. I've heard great things about it, though. That one also looks interesting. That's right. Now, if we don't have any calls tonight, like I said, again, thank you so much for the Super Chats from everybody, all the $5 donations. I greatly appreciate it. It's great to have Super Chat back, and you guys just paid for 3/4 of the fights on Saturday. Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell 3. So I hope a lot of you tune in for that. That will be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, this Saturday, the day after Black Friday. And I think it'll be fun. I'll call next time, says Comedian Genius. All right. We're going to wrap this one up, guys. Like I said, again, thank you guys very much. As always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses later.